Jake Paul has weighed in on the viral clip of Gervonta "Tank" Davis tearing it up in training, a video that's been making the rounds all over social media. Paul's reaction has set the internet buzzing. In the footage, Tank looks faster, cleaner, and more explosive than ever as he prepares for his upcoming bout, leaving fans asking the question: has Davis just hit the peak of his career?
Shared about Tank is he's a dog. That what he just said, you can put them earmuffs up and go at it. He kind of will assess you as well, and whatever he needs to do, he'll do.
Gervonta Davis has made his name dominating the lower weight divisions, usually competing between 133 and 135 pounds, and never officially stepping above 140 in a pro fight. Jake Paul, on the other hand, is a natural cruiserweight, fighting around the 200-pound mark, and has recently been weighing in right around that range. That's a massive difference, spanning multiple weight classes. When the gap is that wide, everything changes. The bigger fighter typically has the upper hand in raw strength, durability, punching power, and the ability to absorb shots. At that stage, it's not just a battle of skill. It becomes a question of who can handle the impact and still perform. Carmel Martin recently looked back on a sparring session he had with Gervonta Davis when he was around 15 or 16 years old. He admitted feeling a bit anxious at first, but once things got going, it turned into more of a strategic battle, all about timing, speed, and counters instead of sheer power. Martin said Davis wasn't trying to dominate or score a knockout. Instead, he focused on movement, rhythm, and smart exchanges. While Davis's power was obvious, Martin felt they were evenly matched in terms of skill and quickness. He described the session as both enjoyable and challenging, a valuable moment in his development as a fighter.
Something else that's unfortunate is the idea that Jake Paul might actually fight Gervonta "Tank" Davis. This can't be real. When it came up a couple of months ago, I was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna cover this because there's no way it's real. There's no way they're really gonna do that because it makes no sense. Why would you do that for him? Outside of it, like, okay, you can look at it like an exhibition, which it will be, and we'll take a look at some of the rule set for it. But Gervonta Davis is one of, if not the best, biggest names at 135 pounds, and is an active in his prime fighter. I don't want to hear the similar to Floyd and Logan thing, because at that point, Floyd was retired. Floyd had done all he needed to do in the sport. Tank is still in his prime, still has multiple high-level opponents that he needs to fight. And you can say, oh, you know, the Jake would be a one-off. Side quest. That's fine, but that just tells me that Tank doesn't care about being a high-level.
Sean Porter came to Gervonta Davis's defense regarding his decision to face Jake Paul in an exhibition bout, arguing that critics are missing the real point. According to Porter, this matchup isn't about proving who's the best. It's about making a smart financial move for Davis and his family. Because it's an exhibition, there are safety rules and limitations in place, keeping the risk low while focusing on entertainment. Porter emphasized that fighters have short careers and must take opportunities that bring both exposure and income. In his eyes, Davis isn't selling out. He's being strategic, building financial security, and giving fans a show at the same time. His comments highlight the constant balance between chasing legacy and preparing for life beyond the ring.
What was that experience like? Like, replay that experience for me. Like, you coming out of it, what was your thought?
Yeah, I was nervous at first. I think I was 15 at the time we sparred, so he wasn't really like trying to knock me out or nothing like that. But we was going like, he was using the speed on me. Like, we was both like going speed for speed, and it was great. It was like a chess match.
Did you understand in that moment like why he is who he is?
Yeah, I seen why he's able to beat these guys. Then I also seen why.
On the flip side, plenty of fans and analysts think this matchup feels more like a spectacle than a true competitive fight. And even some promoters seem to agree. The bout setup says a lot. A 195-pound catchweight, larger gloves, and the exhibition label all signal that safety and entertainment are the priorities here. For most observers, the concern isn't just a weight gap, it's the difference in experience. Davis has gone toe-to-toe with elite world champions, while Jake Paul is still relatively new to that level of competition. Many expect Tank's speed and precision to shine through, allowing him to land clean shots and make Jake look uncomfortable despite the size advantage.
They're trying to make it safer, and all those sorts of things. But there's still this pureness to boxing that really doesn't exist in sports anymore, but it's still there with boxing. I think that's why people have such a problem with this kind of move from Tank Davis.
Is it more the heart? How do you guys feel being boxers?
Man, like once you hear the numbers, I'm like, they're talking, like, I don't know the official one. They're talking about like 100 mil.
Oh, damn.
Like, they're talking about these insane numbers. Like, I'm gonna be like, don't take that. I'm not gonna tell another man not to take that type of check, especially for something like that. It's not on your official record. It's an exhibition. I'm not gonna lie here and act like I'm not gonna say yes to 100 million or something like that. But I do see exactly what you're saying about the essence of boxing. I wish they would kind of separate a little more, because exhibitions have always been a thing. There's always been an argument.
Right.
But they're just selling it like a real fight almost.
Right.
So I think that maybe if we could create a better like distinction, the more of a difference,
Right.
there might be less hate on it. But at the end of the day, man, I'm not gonna tell Tank not to take that fight.
And I said this last year. I said create a influencer title. And let those guys fight over there in the influencer world. They can live the world in the life of I'm a world champion without having to do something like this. Now, the issue for this that I have is you have a legitimate 135-pound champion fighter getting in the ring with a 190-pound guy, whatever it is that Jake Paul is at. So now
Chael Sonnen recently took aim at Jake Paul's move from a potential bout with Anthony Joshua to one against Gervonta Tank Davis, calling it a step down for what fans had anticipated. Sonnen explained that, unlike Paul, Tank isn't naturally a showman when it comes to promoting fights or generating hype. Davis tends to let his performances speak for themselves, but he doesn't have the same marketing instincts that Paul has sharpened over the years. While Sonnen acknowledged Tank's elite skill and proven record in the ring, he argued that the event's buzz depends largely on Paul's promotional power rather than the matchup itself. In his view, it's Paul's storytelling and ability to command attention that will ultimately sell the fight.
Like, are they going to actually try and knock each other out? Because it's going to be a glorified sparring match. I'm not watching, dude. I don't give a fuck.
Jake's going to have a hard time hitting him.
Yeah.
You know?
Big time. Gervonta's so fast and skilled.
Gervonta's going to eat his
I thought
guts.
Jake was going to fight Anthony Joshua. That seemed
No, that was actually getting...
That
sounded
the
more
craziest
interesting.
idea I've ever heard. Jake Paul trying to fight Anthony Joshua is, crazy.
Not a sanctioned professional bout. This means the fight will not count towards either fighter's professional records.
So it's still being finalized.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that.
What is so behind the scenes? You think there are things like, hey, we don't punch each other in the jaw?
Yep. Or don't go. We can punch in the face, but don't go for broke. Like, don't knock me out.
Really?
Yeah. It's an exhibition.
That's
so
not
they
very
can get away
interesting
with
to me.
No. Until I find the rule sets, but when I hear exhibition, I'm like, okay.
Jake is bodied up, man.
He's big.
Yeah.
Probably has 100 pounds on Gervonta.
Maybe. I'd say Gervonta probably walks at 150.
Oh, he's so small.
He's so small. I mean, he's really small. Bring up Gervonta Davis next to Floyd Mayweather, because I've seen Floyd in person, and he's tiny. You've seen Floyd in person.
I've worked with Gervonta and Floyd.
Tiny.
Well, Floyd likely has shoes on.
Oh, dude, he's so small.
He's tiny, guys.
Yeah. I mean, he's so small. Wow. Great.
Over time, Gervonta Davis's view of Jake Paul has noticeably evolved. Early on, he dismissed Paul as nothing more than a loudmouth chasing clout, often laughing off his boxing ambitions as a gimmick. But as Paul began training seriously and earning genuine respect within the sport, Davis's perspective started to change. He's since acknowledged Paul's disciplined mental toughness and consistent effort in the gym. Although Davis still doesn't consider him a top-tier boxer, he now appears more open to stepping in the ring with him, largely because of Paul's massive fan base and influence in the fight world.
Of Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul for 2. So the fight that was being dangled and rumored in front of us, the exact opposite has happened. The opposite of fighting Anthony Joshua is not fighting nobody. The opposite of fighting Anthony Joshua is fighting Tank Davis. Okay. So there's one big glaring issue for me. It's just your partner being Tank Davis. Tank is not the guy that knows how to sell a fight. Tank cannot sell a fight in his own division. It could be a title fight, a contenders fight, a main event fight. He could be the favorite, he could be the underdog. Tank doesn't know how to bring that information to you guys in a way that is compelling. And Tank is already blinking in this situation. You have one guy who is argued amongst the pound for pound current greats in boxing. You have another guy that has suggested he should not even be allowed to box, that he should have to call it something different. He should not be licensed. He should not be ranked in the top 14. He should never be selected for a world title. Okay. Now, Tank has one job to do, which is to let anybody know that's listening that it doesn't make any difference, that boxing is a real sport.
Jake Paul's dominant victory over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. marked a major turning point in how he's viewed across the boxing world. The Anaheim event shattered the arena's previous gate record, outperforming shows headlined by established stars and showcasing Paul's incredible drawing power. Big names like Oscar de la Hoya have since acknowledged him as a legitimate contender, even suggesting he could one day fight for a world title. Manny Pacquiao also noted that, while skeptics remain, Paul's dedication to the sport is beyond question. That performance didn't just boost his reputation commercially. It also earned him praise from analysts who highlighted his poise, ring awareness, and technical control under pressure.
Jake, what do you think of Jake?
Clown. He's a clown. I know that Jake can't fight. He can't fight. So
would you look at it as a joke if your team was like, yo, we want you to fight Jake Paul? Would you be like, come on, man?
I laugh at him. You want me to fight him? At first, I didn't like how Jake Paul was coming because of how he was making it look. But now that I see that, I feel as though he's still a clown because that's his personality. I'm starting to respect it because he's not doing it like for the hype. He was really like trying to be a boxer. I think that he's decent.
Yeah.
Like he's good. I mean, he's not good, but he's going that way.
Is he better than you thought he'd be?
Yeah.
Gotta be mentally tough to be in a box. So that's why I don't take that away from some fighters or some people that want to jump into the sport. So just show how tough you are.
Jake Paul has officially declared that a new chapter in his boxing journey is underway. And this time, he's setting his sights on established professionals within the sport. Following his win over Andre August, Paul announced that he's finished with crossover bouts and MMA-style matchups, choosing instead to pursue a traditional boxing path against experienced, proven fighters. In an interview with CNN, he emphasized his desire to challenge anyone, particularly opponents who are favored to beat him, so he can earn respect the hard way. He's echoed that same message across multiple platforms, making it clear that his goal is no longer spectacle but legacy. Paul wants to prove that he belongs among boxing's top names through real competition and consistent performance in the ring.
That fight many years ago, didn't knock him out, couldn't hurt him. So imagine if Jake Paul can hurt or even wobble Chavez Jr. It's something that Canelo didn't do or couldn't do. So Jake Paul, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., it's a real fight. Look, people keep talking about Jake Paul, well, he's not a real fighter, this and that. Well, he's fighting a real fighter now in Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. It's going to be a good test for both guys. Obviously, Jake Paul, he's a masterclass promoter in what he does. He's been doing some great things. I mean, Mike Tyson, 60 million people. Fighting Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who, when he trains, when he gets in shape, when he's focused, he will be dangerous for anybody. Look, Canelo Alvarez fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. We promoted that fight many years ago. Didn't knock him out, couldn't hurt him. So imagine if Jake Paul can hurt or even wobble Chavez Jr. It's something that Canelo didn't do or couldn't do. So there's a lot of stories to come out from this, a lot of great stories for Jake Paul. So I just feel honored and proud that we can team up with MVP Promotions, with Jake Paul, and we can make Zurdo Ramirez with Torticos the mandatory. That's going to be a bloodbath in it.
The significant weight difference between Jake Paul and Gervonta Tank Davis ultimately became impossible to overlook, leading the Georgia Commission to deny approval for the matchup. As a result, Paul's camp pulled their application and decided to relocate the event to Miami. The move highlights just how complicated major exhibition bouts can be to organize, with regulators prioritizing safety, fairness, and risk management over financial gain. For Davis, George's refusal adds another layer to the skepticism surrounding him, while for Paul, shifting the fight to Miami fits perfectly with his brand, maintaining buzz and media attention. The decision doesn't just change the venue. It influences public perception, event logistics, and serves as another reminder of how delicate the business side of boxing really is.
These people, who's the most enticing to you?
I don't know, I want to fight them all, to be honest. I just need the time. So I probably will literally fight all of them. So they're all...
Critics claim that Jake Paul's rapid climb in boxing isn't just a result of strong promotion. It also stems from what they see as a disregard for the sport's traditions. Many argue that by tempting retired legends back into the ring with massive paydays, Paul is undermining boxing's integrity. While the spectacle may excite fans, it raises serious concerns about the risks involved, especially when veterans like Mike Tyson are convinced to return to action long after their prime.
Happen. And the fact that y'all believed it, I don't know, you're stupid. So Rick Thompson, chairman of the Georgia Athletic Commission, told USA Today Sports that Paul's promotion company withdrew its request for permits and a rule waiver, citing the 65-pound weight difference between the fighters. The Rick Thompson guy straight up said they've been promoting something they should not have been. Come on, guys, use your brains. Y'all boxing fans, you understand this. This fight was never gonna happen. This is the article from USA Today. It says the status of the proposed fight between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis under scrutiny because of the weight discrepancy between the two fighters. Rick Thompson is coming out and saying this stuff because he said he believes it's in the public's best interest to know that they've been promoting something they should not have been. Communications director for the Office of the Secretary of State told USA Today Sports the event will not be happening. But funny enough, tickets are still available. You can still purchase them online, and the fight is still listed on the State Farm Arena.
Ultimately, the clash between Jake Paul and Gervonta tanked. Davis blurs a boundary between pure sport and entertainment. What some dismiss as a mismatch, others recognize as a calculated business move. One that promises both fighters massive exposure, hefty paydays, and fresh opportunities. From the weight disparity and venue change to the marketing tactics and questions of legitimacy, controversy continues to surround this event. Yet for fans, analysts, and insiders alike, the real story will unfold in how these two very different competitors handle the spotlight, the expectations, and the aftermath once the bell rings. Whether it's remembered as a spectacle or a turning point in crossover boxing, its influence will be felt long after the fight is over.
Sending me DMs talking. He offered me a contract a long time ago. And I was like, what are you doing? I'm a retired fighter and I've got one eye. Why would I want to fight you? I wouldn't lower myself to doing that. I know a lot of people do that. They do lower themselves, if you want to say that, because of the payday. Because Jake Paul is a big name. He is a social media sensation. He's a YouTube star. And now, of course, in the world of boxing, he's one of boxing's biggest stars because he puts on these spectacles like Paul versus Tyson, like Nate Diaz, because these are the fighters, these are the names that attract the eyes. Jake Paul is the B-side to almost every single one of his fights. When he fought Nate Diaz, people were tuning in for Nate Diaz. His last fight against Chavez Jr, apparently no one watched that fight. Apparently the pay-per-views were ridiculously low. So this one's going back to Netflix on November 14th, and it's an exhibition bout. Of course, it's an exhibition bout because no athletic commission in their right mind will sanction this fight. There's just no way you can make this a legitimate fight because of the size advantage. Typically, this would be very, very dangerous and someone could get really hurt. If Jake Paul was to swing as hard as he could and connect and wobble him and hit him many, many times and not knock him out with the bigger gloves and the concussion possibilities and the brain rattling around inside the head and Jake Paul just teeing off at him as hard as he could, it's dangerous. That's why fights like this can't get sanctioned. That's why this is a...
So what do you think? Does this matchup truly make sense? Or is the gap just too big to take seriously? Drop your thoughts down in the comments, and let's see where the debate goes.